What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. Today we got a reaction to American Music Club and their album Everclear, brought to us by friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Slade Said. Thank you, Slade Said. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out that Patreon link below or the Patreon link on the end screen. We could not do it without them. Slade Said knows a ton about music and a ton about artists that haven't made it big. It always amazes me. And so I like everything that Slade Said brings, basically. I just kind of my kind of stuff. Slade says, so for my March list, this is March of 2024 when I'm filming this, I went the 1991 album Everclear by the vastly underrated alternative rock band American Music Club. You've reacted to a single song by the band on the channel when I had you and Trey react to their song Johnny Mathis's Feet in a top 10 of 90s alternative rock list a long time ago. And I believe that's the only time this band has been featured here. So it's about time they get their due, which is true because I didn't even remember doing that. AMC was founded in San Francisco in 1982, and the band's undisputed leader is singer-songwriter Mark Etzel, who writes most of the songs, is the lead singer, and one of two guitarists in the band. They released their debut album, The Restless Stranger, in 1986, and released 7 albums in total between 86 and 94, so very prolific, before disbanding. They reunited in 2003 and went on to release 2 more albums before disbanding in 2010. To most fans, Slade said, their magnum opus is their 5th album, this one, Everclear, from 1991. And as you know, that is also the album I chose for this reaction. The album received excellent reviews, and Rolling Stone had it listed in their 5 best albums of the year, and Mark Eitzel as Songwriter of the Year. So high acclaim for a band that had no real album sales, unfortunately. And I found in an article in the December 1994 issue of Addicted to Noise, the band said, quote, I remember we were somewhere in Germany and we found out about the Rolling Stone poll, Mark said. It made me feel really good, but for the next show, there were about 20 people in the audience, and they were Army guys, and they thought American Music Club were some righteous American freedom-fighting, cool-ass Springsteen-influenced, Guns N' Roses kind of guys. And we did not rock. They didn't know we'd made one of the best records of the year, and he was the best songwriter, adds bassist Dan Pearson. They couldn't give an F about us, said Mark, and they certainly didn't agree. So I said AMC definitely belongs to the alternative rock scene, but in many ways their style is pretty unique, and they can be both devastatingly beautiful and extremely ugly, and you'll find a bit of both on this album. Although overall, it's pretty accessible. The band's lineup on this album was the following. Mark Eitzel was the lead singer and guitars. Voodie on guitars, accordion and bass. Bruce Kaplan on pedal steel, keyboards, percussion, and more. Dan Pearson on bass, mandolin, banjo, and more. And Mike Sims on drums. So even from those musicianship credits, you can tell there's going to be an eclectic mix of arrangements on here. All right, if you haven't joined us before, the music will not be in the video, but it'll be at a Vimeo link below, so click on that and follow along with us. And everything on here is all Slade Said's comments because I could not find anything on this album. Only thing I found was that quote I already gave you. So, song 1, Why Won't You Stay? Slade said the album kicks off with a very beautiful ballad showcasing Mark's excellent songwriting skills, as well as showing his great jazz-influenced vocals. All right, I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Slade Said. Why Won't You Stay? One of those songs that's 3 minutes long, so it's not incredibly short, yet it felt like it went so quickly. Mark sounds fantastic. Love the arrangement. The lyrics are devastating. I mean, I think this girl died by suicide, right? Maybe not, but he's talking about watching her sleep, and I'm checking your pulse because you're so quiet. I'm kissing you, but you don't feel it. Why'd you do this to me? Showing me all that I'm good for is to watch you sleep as lifeless as an angel. She was the most beautiful cloud that ever passed before the face of a girl. Seems like nothing's too good for this life. Yes, some things are too good for this world. And our names and our faces, well, they're just spare change in memory of a soul who kept dropping spare chains. Why won't you stay? In memory, the last verse, in memory of a little girl who was far too much in love with the world and who really didn't want to stick around for the end. Why won't you stay? I mean, what a devastating song, but what a fantastic song. What a fantastic song. Next up, we have Rise. Following what almost sounds like a lullaby, we get some angry energy back from Rise, which was the lead single of the album, Slade said. Definitely harder hitting. Great guitar work there, but an anthemic chorus, right? The chorus is very anthemic, and you're singing around and make you rise. So really well done. I could see how this would be a single. I actually don't think it's quite as good as Why Won't You Stay, but Why Won't You Stay would Would probably not be a good single, at least at that time, even though I think it's a fantastic song. But Rise, very good. First two tracks, really good. Next up, we got the third song, Miracle on 8th Street. Not 34th, boys and girls, 8th. Following the energetic outburst of Rise, Slade said, we return to the slow rhythms, but Miracle on 8th Street is not your typical ballad. There's a lot of things going on under the surface on this song. All right, better pay attention to those lyrics. All right, Miracle on 8th Street. What a fantastic vocal performance by Mark, right? It's very raw. You feel the emotions. Now, I don't know if this relationship's over or if she might have passed away as well. I don't know. Come on, let's waste another 1,000 years sitting around your kitchen table. We'll turn the brandy into beer. Later they'll say, what a miracle. Water and wine from Jesus, brandy into beer. You say all you need is a right position because nothing in this world helps you see. You say it, you never do it unless someone gives it to you for free. And then the chorus, it's so drawn out, right? It's so slow in a good way. You say, I never listened to you. Well, you're right about that. Oh, you're right about that. But I thought that I loved you more than that. I know you're strong enough to live in a world where all the magic's gone. I watch your hands tremble. You reach for another sip, and all your luck is gone. Look at the moon. Ain't it pretty at night? Don't look away. Give it a chance for once. In its own way, it's just alive as any of us. And anyway, where you face. And then that you say, I never listened to you. Well, you're right about that. And then I love you more than that. It repeats 6 times. And then I love you. So she's out of the picture. I don't know whether she's passed away or just out of the picture or kind of just quit on life and still around. But a very powerful song. Next up, we have Ex-Girlfriend. Slade said it's a perfect follow-up to Miracle on 8th Street as it's an energetic rock song and one of the better songs on the album. All right, Ex-Girlfriend. I may or may not have a few of those in my past, way back in the past. All right, Ex-Girlfriend. Good guitar work on there by Mark and Voody. Dan Pearson's bass was awesome. Mike Sims on the drums was also good. We got the more band, full rockin' experience there. But Ex-Girlfriend, he's not singing about his ex-girlfriend. He's singing to a friend who's came to him and told him that his friend was not doing well, right? The ex-girlfriend said it. He was crying. Hey, I don't know. I didn't know things were so bad for you. He's telling his friend, maybe you're just trying to get her to come back to you, playing the sympathy, or work your way out of the cynical attitudes to protect you. And then the bridge, I thought, has so much wisdom. Bad habits make our decisions for us. You should try to remember all you're holding is a handful of dust, but it's not even closing time. This life isn't over, right? And already stars are falling out of the sky. Yeah, you're all lit up. You got to do something. I'll help you try. And then the third verse, your ex-girlfriend told me you spent all day crying. Now, do you believe the stories you spent your whole life not buying? I guess you got no one. I guess you got no one. I guess you got. He finishes that out. Oh, to take care of you. So, yeah, good song. Next up, we have Crab Walk. Slade said it's their take on rockabilly and a good version at that, even if it's not one of my favorite songs on the album. All right, Crab Walk. There's just 12 seconds of silence at the end, so I'm going to cut that out. So if you see I stop the song on 12 seconds, that is why. I got to tell you, the first part of the song, I didn't like this song. I just didn't like the arrangement, the rockabilly thing. Sometimes rockabilly works for me, but it does show you their ability and their versatility for sure. And the longer it went on, the more I thought it was fine. I mean, that's where we get some of the, the pedal steel and mandolin banjo. I think that's where we get some of that in this arrangement. But it does show you the versatility. Like totally out of left field. Did not expect that one. Now we go on to the Confidential Agent. Slade said it's a song that in style can be compared to Miracle on 8th Street as it's slow moving with a lot going on. As one reviewer wrote, in the end, American Music Club's The Confidential Agent is more than just a song. It's a hauntingly beautiful piece of art that captures the essence of vulnerability and the pursuit of purpose. It reminds us that beneath the surface, we all carry hidden desires and buried emotions, waiting to be acknowledged and embraced. I bet you I'm not going to sum this song up that well, but you got that at the start. The Confidential Agent. 4 minutes that went incredibly quick. I looked down, I'm like, the song's over? Really well done. Definitely haunting, as that reviewer put it. Definitely haunting. And I think the lyrics are a little bit abstract, right? But I mean, take the velvet line for comfort, high above the water, feel disconnected and free, tired of hopes that I just can't run from. I travel in secret. I know they're pursuing me. Morning that falls represents a weak link. After night's work is done. There's no sun, just a gray horizon hiding from heaven, another frozen world. And then, of course, watch the ship hold its course and as an act of devotion. And me, I'm lost at sea, going through the motions. So I read you the first verse and the chorus to get to those last 2 lines. And me, I'm lost at sea, going through the emotions. Devastating lyrics. Again, so well written and well arranged, because you wouldn't want a pumped up arrangement to this, because you want to get lost in the words and the emotion. If you get too much of a pumped up arrangement, you lose emotion, I would say 90% of the time. Next up, we have Sick of Food, which Slade said starts as a slow song, but the noise and the anger increase throughout the song. As written by another reviewer, the result was one of the most emotionally powerful and intelligently dynamic moments on AMC's finest album, and a song that seems to have been a lyrical precursor to other songs about AIDS. Springsteen's Oscar-winning Streets of Philadelphia as one of those examples. All right, man, that was a great song as well. Mark's emotive on this song so well. The emotion just comes through. You feel like it's almost personal to him, man, and that's the way the best vocals are performed. I mean, the comment was about other songs about AIDS. I mean, I didn't take this as being about AIDS. I mean, it could be, obviously, but I didn't take it that way. Although, you know, being in 1991, it very well could be. But I'm sick of food, so why am I so hungry? I was sick of you, but I don't mind seeing your little face. I was sick of love, so I just stopped feeling. But I couldn't find anything to take its place. What do I do with my time? So what do I do with my time? I'm sick of drinks, so why am I so thirsty? I must have been born on the planet Mercury. I just called to ask you what I said last night. I just called to ask you what I did last night. And then the bridge. Now I wake up and I don't have any gravity. Now I wake up still walking in my sleep. Now I wake up and feel the whole world draw away from me. Now I wake up still walking in my sleep. So I view it more, and then, you know, the chorus finished that. Now I wake up, feel the world draw away from me. Now I wake up, what good is it? Another bright nothing, another day. To me, it seems like he's depressed, but another fantastic song. I could see why Rolling Stone picked Mark as the songwriter. These songs are absolutely spot on lyricism. All right, well, at least by the title, this one doesn't seem like it's going to be real cheery either. The Dead Part of You. It's a fast-paced, noisy acoustic rock song without drums. And while this seems odd, Slade said, it absolutely works. Okay, The Dead Part of You. It definitely did work, right? It definitely did work with just the way the guitar work ramped up. But a good song. A good song. The price of your soul is less than cab fare. It gets you home before the living end. The dead part of you leaves me with a blessing from a destruction of your beauty, your self-hatred, your pity. There's so little of you left. There's so little of you left. It's really, really well done as it plays out through the song. The dead part of you takes me out. That's how verse 2 starts. How we get the title, and says, the beast in me is fading fast and leaves me with a great big goodbye hug. It's busy clinging to the dead part of the past. So, I mean, songwriting, I mean, I'm a broken record, but it needs to be acknowledged on every song, because as you guys know, I listen to a lot of music. I read a ton of lyrics, thousands and thousands and thousands of songs throughout a year. And when you find one that really stands out consistently, you got to give it praise. And this is one that really stands out consistently. 3 songs left. Royal Cafe, Slade says, one of the more accessible songs on the album, with a great hook and a good catchy melody. It could almost fit on REM's Out of Time album. High praise. Royal Cafe, get a little banjo in there. Again, a really well-written song. We'll skip all the way to the bridge. Without all of your pain, he's talking to his girl, right? You got to find a way to survive. So that without all of your pain, you got to find a way to survive. With all your pain, you got to find something to keep alive. And then the next verse, don't worry about the magic kingdom. They won't even let us near the gate. Yeah, we're just a couple of anchors dragging an empty sleigh. And then the chorus, oh, are you ready to go? You'll be happier, I know. You'll be happier, I know. Are you ready to go to the Royal Cafe? Well arranged, a different kind of arrangement, works with the song, very upbeat, very accessible, but the lyrics are also a little tough there towards the end, right? A little dark. They're going through tough times, but you wouldn't know it from the arrangement. I like that sometimes when you got the upbeat arrangement and little darker lyrics. 2 songs left. What the Pillar of Salt Held Up, Slade said, is an acoustic ballad that to me is one of the less interesting songs on the album. I never skip it, but it's not a song I specifically choose to hear either. What the Pillar of Salt Held Up, a quick one. Just acoustic. Acoustic work is great. I totally agree with Slade said. Like, this is not a bad song. It's well written, all the good stuff. Mark sounds good. It's just not that I thought interesting. I would not have put it that way, but that was the perfect way that Slade said put it. And I think sometimes songs like this are hurt when the other songs have such a diverse arrangement to them, right? And you come in with this, like, this is well done. It's just, it does sound a little boring compared to the other songs, even though it's a really good song. So what I'm trying to say is if this album sucked, this song would probably stand out, right? But this album's fantastic, so it's 1 of 11. And our final song, Jesus' Hands. Slade said the album finishes with a beautiful ballad, which has always been one of my favorites on the album. Jesus' Hands, a little bit of biblical allusions in there. Heavy play from the mandolin, which gave it this nice texture, which kind of the difference, like the arrangement of the last song was a slow type of ballad with the Pillar of Salt held up. But this one, the arrangement of it just kind of punches it up and makes you a little more interested. Mark, sounds fantastic. A really good way to end the album. And now we're going to get to my favorite tracks. And there is a lot of honorable mentions. Rise, Miracle on 8th Street, The Confidential Agent, The Royal Cafe, and Jesus' Hands. Favorites, Why Won't You Stay, Ex-Girlfriend, and Sick of Food. And now we get to my overall score. You probably guessed it, boys and girls. 8 of the 11 songs, if you tallied it up at home, are on my faves list or honorable mention list. And I mean, the other 3 are good as well. I just didn't want to have 10 of the 11 as my faves. I'm a pretty tough grader, right? I've only ever graded 5 albums a perfect 10. So I'm a really tough grader. So to get even in the upper 8s for me is incredibly difficult. But I'm going to give this an 8.75. I almost gave it a 9, which I mean is so rare on first listen, right? You got to remember this is first listen. 8.75. You could talk me into a 9. The songwriting is next level. I mean, Slade talked about it in the beginning, but it is definitely next level. It is fantastic on every single song. There is no song on here mailed in. It's fantastic. And different songwriting techniques, right? Some of them, a couple of them started with the chorus first, which is a Neil Young songwriting technique. He's the most famous for it. You don't see that a lot, but all kinds of different arrangements from the rockabilly to the rocker with no drums to the dial back acoustic with nothing else to some mandolin play, some banjo play. I mean, just a fantastic album, guys. So really appreciate Slade for bringing this one. Let me know what you think of this album below. What are your favorite tracks? What else should I check out from American Music Club? And until next time, guys, I will see you.